She's got to start it before.
You're good. This one's faster than our one at the office.
Well, there's an outlet for my computers.
I'm just a teacher's pet, so.
You what?
The teacher's pet.
Okay.
We got a corner for you, right here with that chair, just in case.
You work at it enough, you can set up here.
Oh, yeah.
All
What's
right,
the little
I will officially, with my gavel, call this meeting of the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to order for Tuesday, April 21st. Join us for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Kirschner will lead us in prayer.
Okay, Holy Father, during this Easter season, we ask you to guide us in our decision-making process, also to guide our friends with the Fostoria City Council and room next to us. We ask all this through your Son, our Lord.
Amen.
And roll call, please.
Commissioner Stacy?
Here.
Commissioner Zoller?
Here.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Here,
We'll have the signing of the journal, and I'll accept a motion to approve the DVD recording from the previous session, which was on Tuesday, April 14th, and the in-depth from that meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve it as outlined.
second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approved, thank you. Just like to acknowledge a thank you to Fostoria City Council and the city officers for working with us on allowing us to come over here to have our quarterly night meeting in Fostoria. And the mayor himself carried the flag down for us as we realized they booked us in the room with council. And I don't think we could have been done in 30 minutes, but you never know. So they moved us to the conference room, so that's fine. So appreciate the mayor and staff accommodating us this evening here in Fostoria. So with that, do we have any adjustments to the agenda? Anything people want to add? I want to add SCAT. I attended their board meeting this morning, so just a real brief update on that. I guess under new business. And Justice Center, I don't know if it should go under new or old, because I wanted to talk about set aside additional monies.
Yeah, and
So it should be new or old or just there, it's kind of old.
I'd put it in both. We also, I think we need to discuss the memorandum of understanding.
Okay, so we'll just Justice Center, we'll put it under old, I guess. And then we had anything else?
I have a couple of building and grounds applications to ask
Okay.
about.
I have an invite.
What?
An invite
Invite.
for a party.
I'm in.
All right, starting with the old business, what I had put on the agenda, I asked them to put on was the strategic plan, and just to kind of, obviously I know we're not gonna lose track of this, but I think June 23rd is the date that we had put out, that we would get back together. We would get back together as the group of all those county elected officials and others that were part of that process that we have gone through. So I thought just as we move forward looking at those three goals, and then underneath of those there was various objectives, that if the three of us wanted to each choose which one we kind of wanted to head up and be thinking about, and we can talk about it in session or work session or something about others coming to help, to serve on a team working on goal 1, 2, or 3. One was facilities, property, I abbreviated. Second one was internal and external communications, and third one was transportation.
if I may be so bold,
Please.
I would suggest that I would like to take the county structures facilities. I would ask
Works for me.
the president of the board think about taking the internal and external communication process.
And I would be glad.
Zoller,
Transportation.
What?
Transportation.
Oh, okay.
That works out most lovely. Okay, so I've got down Mike for facilities for goal 1, myself for 2, the communication stuff, and Fred on transportation. And then, not that we have to assign the staff, but I thought Tanya would probably work really well if you, for what her staff with facilities person, whoever that was, because she's done a lot of the tracking on the different buildings, the costs we put into those buildings and all that kind of stuff.
Okay,
I'll work with Stacy with the communication stuff because of the website stuff she's done, and it's far more than just that, but, and then, Nikki, you are blessed in getting to work with Fred on the transportation, so.
Of what, the movie?
I can't let Mike be the only person that gives you a hard time, Fred.
I'm the movie prize now. I would also wanna, and I will contact Roxanne Burris on regional planning.
Yeah, because I think
To be on,
we all
yeah.
need to think of other people that serve on some of these. Some of the folks that were obviously as part of the transportation, or the strategic planning process, and outside of that a little bit too, if need be. And look at these, and we can, like I said, sometime before we get too far into June, we need to go back to finalizing
And
material. And I don't want us to meet June 23rd and have done nothing. I want us to be a little bit further along with some of the thoughts on it. So, could.
Good job, thank you.
Going into new business, do you guys want to do the written resolutions first? Do you want to go into all the stuff we added? What do you think? I have no preference.
Why don't we go into what we've added?
What we've added? Okay. Okay, let's get the invite and the building and ground stuff out of the way, but I'm afraid we'll forget them.
You guys just got the Tiffin Memorial Day Parade invite again, if you guys wanna do it.
Okay. I will look at that closer, in terms of who to contact, and I'm not gonna look at, is it on
May
the Monday?
15th.
You gonna do a float?
I don't know. On the building?
May 15th is on
I
a
think it's
Friday.
basically riding in a car or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, we have the chairman of the design committee for the courthouse. Did you have a design for us, Bill? So that we can begin the parade Memorial Day?
Carry the sign?
Gotcha.
Okay, just wondering how long you work.
Maybe labor, but not tomorrow.
About
Maybe
Memorial.
Memorial.
You know,
Maybe
it-
Memorial.
I guess it would be nice, Memorial Day parade, if we could, all three of us ride in a vehicle together, yeah. I think that,
You gotta be
Is that
there.
legal? Do we need to?
yeah, do we need to report it there?
Brittany and Melissa, you need to be in the car with us.
Yeah.
Nikki and
Supposed to.
Tom, you might as well go on.
You're not allowed to walk, you know. You don't have to ride.
Wait a second.
That's true.
Holly should ride, and you two gentlemen should walk on the outside of the vehicle.
Can we carry one of those
I like
sabers?
having the judge here. Well, we'll look at that closer. All right, the buildings and grounds applications, you said there was a few more?
Yes, I got, a request from Madison Street. They're looking to have an outdoor event. Last year, I think, was their first year they did this, and they stayed pretty much on Madison Street. But they're looking to put, a tent, like, in our parking lot, and have a little concert, different local bands that come in, and they did this last year, but they stayed on the street and did everything, but they're looking to use our parking lot, and
How was this received by the police department? Was it very well managed and so forth? Did you hear any issues there?
I never heard any issues
I didn't
afterwards.
nope. And our parking lot after that one was pretty cleaned after that event. Sometimes we do have, parking lots that are not cleaned up very well, but they did. Usually I approve them, but I know since it was our lot,
So they're gonna use our lot not for parking, for,
tent for the stage.
they're not gonna like drill holes into the new asphalt.
No.
I don't know how big a tent they're putting
I know.
out, what they need, but
And I could just put that in the stipulation,
I
because
would
I
bet
think
that
it's in
they
the.
are gonna wanna they're
Really?
probably gonna put a large tent up.
is it?
They had one in the, did they
is
put
it-
holes in
is
the
it
street last year?
Holes in the hole.
If
Really?
you're gonna put a tent up, you gotta put some
Wow.
holes in, but they can seal those.
I can ask.
Just ask it, I guess we might as well just let us know, and then we can,
Well, I mean,
Is
we
it-
can just say.
is it for the whole weekend? Or is it
No, just
one day?
September 5th from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. So it sounds like off the day,
10 a.m.
10 a.m. in the morning.
I
So
thought
they
the longer the
got-
hours, the more the days, the
says
bigger the
AM.
tent.
Says a.m.
Or do we have a
That's right.
problem if they put holes in it? I mean, 'cause that's,
Well, we could just say that it needs to be in the same state of repair it was when they got there.
Yeah, assuming they're not.
We did check on insurance, I think that was one of the questions.
I think you should check on insurance, because now you're allowing county property used for serving alcohol.
Yeah, we
The
did,
tent's for alcohol.
we did, the provision, I talked to Chris actually over there, and the first question we asked him was about insurance, liability insurance, and I think, is that included in the application?
Yes, it's in the rules of the application, yes.
Because they have to provide
Yes.
insurance.
You need to double emphasize that.
Check with them,
Alright.
as long as that's okay. The only other one I had is from Victims Assistance, and I tried to call her today to get some clarification. And I think she's already advertised, but she wants to do a Pantry Plus food drive at the CSB parking lot, which I didn't think we'd have a problem with, but it's during business hours, but I think she's already advertised. So I'm not sure I can change it. I was gonna suggest maybe Public Safety Fairgrounds, so people could pull in and drop off donated food,
Oh, yeah.
non-perished items.
I mean, if they're gonna man like a box or truck that's parked there or something.
Yes, Pantry Plus, a Seneca County van parked at the CSB parking lot.
They need the whole parking lot?
That's what I wanted to clarify with her today.
Because that's not the easiest one to pull in and out.
Yeah, and it's on a Friday. I thought maybe
I
it
would have
was
a problem with
Saturday.
the full parking lot. If it's just a couple parking spaces, then
That's what I would gather, she wants,
Then
they
we
wanna
need
park it and put a sign on, maybe occupy 2 spaces, that's one thing. But could we direct, I think, I mean, our lot on a Friday would be better advertising for them, or as equal advertising.
Yeah.
Because that one's on the one-way street,
Right,
and we get a lot of traffic with folks on Main Street for lunch on Fridays. I don't, and it's easier just for people to pull in.
Yeah.
I think we need some clarification
Yeah.
on that.
and Tanya is the one that gave this to me, but she said she thinks that she's already got signs around Tiffin.
Oh.
So
Well,
it may be, I mean,
I said, I would not want them to occupy the whole space, because that would obviously cause our tenants issues.
right,
For anybody coming into the health department, board of elections.
Yeah.
Um,
so hopefully she'll give me, we were at meetings all day today, so
yeah,
if she left me a voicemail, I didn't get it that, but I wanted to at least mention it, but, I mean, if she's advertised it, I don't want her to have to change everything, but at least we can narrow it down to what she really needs. Maybe yet next year, we'll just suggest another spot for that. Okay.
Should we notify people that usually park there?
Yeah, we will.
yeah,
Yeah, but if it's a whole parking lot, then I think we got an issue there.
Yeah.
Not on a work day.
yeah, I don't think,
Not on a work
I don't
day.
think we can close.
If it's a
parking
couple,
lot.
if it's a whole parking lot, my vote would say no. If it's a couple parking spaces, that's just gonna just create havoc.
She just says, we're having a food drive, we'd like the Pantry Plus Seneca County to bring their van, therefore individuals can drop off non-perishable items, etc., May 1st from 10 to 2.
My suspicion, it's gonna be just a couple parking spaces.
Okay.
Let's just get clarification.
Is that all the buildings and grounds? Okay. On SCAT, I attended their board meeting this morning, and I had been talking with Mary last year, prior to Mike being on the board. We did the redesignation for 1 year, so it was for this calendar year, and so it's gonna be coming up time, they'll be putting all their stuff back in. We're the applicant, they're the grantee, for the rural transit program that we have and meet here in Seneca County. And so I said it was time, Mary and I started talking in the fall. I said, I'd just like to, meet the board, talk to them a little bit, see what questions they have. And in the letter we had gotten from ODOT, it had said for us to evaluate before we renew, kind of thing. So I talked to the ODOT transit people and said, what do you mean by that? And they directed me to their guide, which is like 9 bulleted points that are all related to them completing the grant application anyway, about how they're gonna operate, what their schedule's going to be, all that kind of stuff that makes sure they understand what requires advanced ODOT approval, if they change their fares, their schedules, certain things like that, us to know, their financials, that kind of thing. So, I did attend that meeting today, and we talked about that kind of stuff, and Mary's I encouraged us to both 2 ways to improve communications between the organization and us, just so we know more what's going on. She's been there now just a full year. So she's going to plan to come to us sometime before August and kind of go through an update on those things, like it follows her grant application anyway. And they would like us to do that. The time factor would be best is if we, in early August, would, do the redesignation for them, and we can do it for a 3-year. It's up to a 3-year normally is, but last year we chose to do the year, just to make sure we review things, because they were in transition between directors again and all that, so. but that's just an update on that, so we'll hear more from them as we get into the summer and then before the middle of August, we can have that up as a resolution. All right, the other new business we added was the Justice Center. What I know I wanted to talk about, and we can do it in whichever order, I don't know that it matters, but we have for the Board of Commissioners, the board that Fred and I have been on the last 2 years, we have as well, and the previous board did set aside money for the future Justice Center, which is getting more near future now. I think we're in a cash position to do that, and a lot of times we've waited till after the second half of the year. I don't think we need to do that, and given the fact that we're moving on things and we've got answers and a lot of more facts now on this happening, I guess I'd like to propose that we go ahead and set aside $400,000 into that fund.
You're suggesting, what did we budget, 300?
This year, we didn't pick one
We
this
did.
year. We figured we were gonna do probably 3 or 4.
Well, we had, the projections show that we would put $1.3 million in the project. And there's $1,050,000 in there.
Right
at
now.
this point in time.
Yeah.
And there will be some soft costs. So I would do $400,000, in excess funds into the account specifically designated for the courthouse.
I could agree with that.
Okay.
I could agree with that.
What was it?
400,000.
400,000.
And
Which will
so
give us a total of $1,450,000.
Yeah.
Would be in that account.
we'd be up just a little
Yeah.
bit from what we projected we wanted to be.
And we would even, let's say if it's another, if things move forward and it's this year, next time that the place is under construction, when would we need the money? When we, assuming we decide to go forward.
My best guess would, yeah, I mean, but it would make sense to me that we would put our money collectively in first, and then we would borrow the money as our money is depleted. So we don't want interest to start accruing before it has to. So, from some preliminary discussions, it's very possible that we would have soft costs within the next 90 days, and that it's also very possible construction could begin sometime late fall. So it's not that far away.
Or I would very much advocate 400,000.
So that is a motion and a second. And do we,
I do have 3 prepared, because we have to transfer it out of the general fund, so I can read those at the end of ours.
okay.
You can motion on those, if that's okay.
All right, so we'll deal with that then, with other stuff. All right, good. All right, otherwise on the Justice Center, there's some exciting information, kind of some reporter called me at 9:15 last night, I don't know what names right now, but that I hear out of the city council meeting and read in the paper today, that the mayor showed some intentions on some information that I think the judge had shared with all of us, some ideas on paper, and this is our first meeting since we've all received that, to talk about some of these things in this said memorandum of understanding. So I think we ought to discuss that.
Yeah, I think one thing that we have to make perfectly clear, because I was involved with this at the very inception, and in an effort to make it a joint justice center and unite the city and the county and so forth, that in discussions with the mayor and the judges and so forth, we come up with this memorandum of understanding. But again, we have to I have to make this perfectly clear. This is just a potential roadmap on what we would like the future to be. There is a tremendous amount of details that have got to be worked out through this whole process. The Justice Center and the Joint Justice Center, that's cast in stone now. I mean, that we know that the city is coming in with this. We can progress with hiring a project manager, and we're working with the COG on contractual things there. There is some issues with the COG as to the fees that they're charged, and those are going to be based on the delivery system. And what they mean is there's various ways that we could go about building this process. One is called, and and Judge Shuff chime in here, because you were involved with these meetings. One is called
Design
design build or a build. There's two, one is that basically, as I understand it, that we would to various architectural firms and we would give them a rendering of how we would like the outside of the building to look. And that's what Judge Shuff is chairing a committee that is working on that, and Commissioner Stacy, you're on that committee also. And then we would take this design, just the outside, and the rest of it, they would go ahead and put together some drawings and come up with a cost estimate. And the other one is that we come up with the total design and we say, okay, bid it. So there's two different delivery systems that you can have on a construction process, and that greatly affects the project manager as to what costs they're gonna get involved with and how much time they're gonna get involved with it. So we're gonna have a meeting, I think it's, Judge, correct, I think it's next Wednesday.
That's correct.
And we're gonna interview some various architects looking at the different delivery systems. Once we have that kind of an understanding of that, then the COG will make a proposal to us as to what their fees would be to be a project manager.
Okay, let's, the topic at hand is the memorandum of understanding between all parties involved. And from my standpoint, I've read this a number of times. We have not had an opportunity to discuss it amongst ourselves. There are items within this memorandum that we have discussed in open session, and there are items that we have not had an opportunity to discuss. The first thing is there are 6 points in the memorandum. First of which is the Joint Justice Center and what the facility is going to be. And the fact is that a design committee has been formed at our request to look at that. As Fred aptly stated, Holly, as president of the board, is on that, along with Judge Shuck, who is here, and a number of other people. The second point is some additional parking. And these are the first item. Joint Justice Center has been approved, as I understand it, by both Tiffin City Council, or at least has been tentatively approved and discussed by Tiffin City Council, and we have approved as of February 17th, I believe it was. The second item is additional parking, which talks about the possibility of demolishing what was the house of the commissioners a while ago, commonly known as the Herald Building. The third item is the Court Street evaluation to see whether or not it would make sense to make that a pedestrian walkway. Now, understanding that we have not had any discussions with any landowners or building owners on Court Street regarding this project, so we owe it to those folks to at least have some conversation at some point. This is a wish list of things that we believe would be progressive in promoting the downtown. The third or the fourth item is a joint administrative government center at 138 East Market Street, commonly known as the East Tower. The fifth is a municipal safety services center, which would redesign the building at 51 East Market Street, now Tiffin Municipal Building, Tiffin Police Building. The sixth is doing something with what we call the RTA building, the old National City building, the precast concrete design building at 109 South Washington Street, and hopefully in the future turning that into something other than it is, whether that be green space or parking. So those are the 6 points that were made, and only one of which is reality, and that is the Joint Justice Center. The other 5 are things that I think the city and the commissioners agree would be a enhancement to the downtown area and would be a positive move for the city of Tiffin and the county if we were able to fund it, if it made fiscal sense, if we could get property owners to agree, and if it showed that it was cost effective.
And I think once we were handed this, I thought this was timing wise, not only, waiting to hear what the city was going to do, and obviously knowing that some of these things hinged on that, by the way I read them, but was the fact that with the county strategic plan, we have spent some time on now starting to formulate and facilities being one of those things, thinking at how this will help us in thinking through those things as well. Now, as the strategic plan is not all inclusive and that's all we're gonna do is those 3 goals, by any means, that's not all we're gonna be working on, it's just what we chose to let the plan focus on. This as well, something else might have to be, maybe I'll come up or go out of this or whatever too. And I think you make a real good point that like the Court Street thing, we haven't talked to a lot of stakeholders. I mentioned that last night talking to Brittany, is that, you know, said, that's an idea in here that's interesting. I think it sounds very intriguing to think of what that would look like, but there's a lot of others to talk to and to get input from and so forth, so.
I like to look at this as a marathon, and we're at the 1 foot line, the beginning. And there's a lot of issues. I mean, it all from the 10,000 foot level, it certainly looks intriguing, but there's a lot of issues we have to. We need to stay focused that the Justice Center is primary job number 1. But there is these other issues that can help enhance the downtown area, help enhance the facilities of us, the different buildings and so forth and so on. So I think it is in our best interest to adopt this memorandum of understanding and to continue working forward on these projects, realizing the Justice Center is job number 1, but that we can continue to work on these other things and move forward as quickly as what time will permit.
I think it's important to identify the fact that as part of our strategic plan, we do have 3 goals, but within those goals, for example, the goal to enhance the use and effectiveness of county facilities and property, there are 5 objectives. And the number 1 objective is to develop a master facilities and property plan. This plays into that thought process. Number 2 objective in that is to finalize the Justice Center plan. Again, plays into this. Develop a plan for the RTA building, recorder, treasurer, auditor. And that plays into this plan. To develop a record storage plan, which again plays into this because we're doing some facilities. And evaluate, well, the last one is evaluate kind of participation in potential industrial park, which doesn't really tie into that. But within each of the goals, there are 5 or 6 objectives, and this ties in really well with the overall building plan.
I would make a motion that we would.
Are you taking a public comment?
I think we certainly can on this. I think it's an important enough topic, and being that Judge Shuff is here.
First of all, I disagree with Mr. Zoller. We're not at the 1 foot line. We've been miles into this. It may be a marathon, but we have been working on this project for years. So we're further than the 1 foot line.
Well, not at the comprehensive level.
Second, this memorandum of understanding grew out of the strategic planning session that you put on a month ago, and we were looking at bigger picture, and this grew out of that. As far as the city, I understand they just introduced it at the council committee of the whole last night. They really haven't passed upon it. They're going to again address it next Monday night at a council of the whole meeting. So it hasn't been passed by the city. It's been introduced and discussed and going to be discussed again next Monday. That's the way I understood it, talking with the mayor. So I just want to bring those issues. And one more, since chair of the design committee, we would like to have prepared some renderings of the exterior design, which is what the committee is. It's really an exterior design committee. And we would like at some point to have some renderings done. That may cost some money. So perhaps sometime there might be a request for a few $1,000s to hire someone for renderings to assist, to look at it. You know, you can talk all you want, but a picture's worth 1,000 words if we could have some renderings prepared based on the thoughts of the whole committee and the ideas of the whole committee. It will allow us to go, yes, no, and work off some renderings. So
Well,
at some
well,
point, we may request a little bit of money.
Well, we have now if the city completely adopts the program, that allows the Joint Justice Center to come in place, and we have the $500,000 zero interest loan for 12 years, so there will be funds readily available.
We're not talking a lot,
Yeah.
3 to 5,000. I don't even know. We just only had one meeting so far. We've got another one Friday. But I do believe that renderings will assist not only the committee, and also in educating the public, making recommendations back to the county and the city on a design.
And the money we've set aside, that's accessible for things as such. I mean, that's the line item we put, that was established by the previous board and that we've been.
And I'm not asking for that, I'm just throwing that out, that down the road, that might be a possibility.
Before we go on, I would like to personally, as an individual, thank Tiffin City Council, and specifically the mayor, for bringing this memorandum forward to City Council, for recommending to City Council, as I believe I read in the paper, if our friend from the paper is correct, the mayor recommended that the City of Tiffin come along and make it a joint justice center. I'm glad that we've moved. It's been a little over 2 months since we made the invitation for them to come with us, and I still welcome them with open arms. I think as a gesture of a collaborative effort and as a gesture of cooperation, that we should participate in this memorandum, such as it is.
And I think it's just says volumes about the cooperation of things. Judge Shuff, myself, and President of City Council, Rich Klein, were invited to sit on a panel and each brief opening remarks to the League of Women Voters last week. And I thought it was very eye-opening. I think Judge Shuff thought the same. Afterwards, after we got done talking, and then they asked some questions of us and we answered those questions, and they were enlightened and pleased and glad to get factual information, because there's a lot of rumors out there. I'm sure after today, I think we all got an email from someone indicating, hearing there's gonna be some free space, and I'm, oh, wait a minute, this is just an idea. Nobody knows about space yet, this kind of stuff, but there's a lot of stories, and once we were able to accurately tell them, and what factual things that were done, that we on this date made that, we're waiting to hear from the city. We tried not to twist Rich's arm too hard that night, but it was just enlightening, and to watch that, I'm going, we've got a lot of education to do. So the idea of having some renderings to show people and to get out there and share our story, as much as still offer input, but I have no problem with us. This is a conceptual idea. It's a letter of intent. It doesn't commit finances or anything from the county. It's just saying that we're on the same page, and for the good of all of Seneca County, this is a positive direction to be looking at working. It's when you do visionary planning, you gotta have somewhere to go, and I think it doesn't commit us to anything other than that we're going to work towards some things and investigate these things, and at least people will know what we want input on. They'll know the things we're talking about, and like I said, we may have other things that'll come into play. This may get, part of it might have to go set aside based on whatever happens financially, based on some other priority the county and or the city has. But I'm well good with us, adopting or accepting this memorandum tonight if we want to do that.
And we do need to move forward with it.
You make the motion?
I make the motion that we accept this memorandum of understanding between the city and the county, and that we work towards achieving the goals outlined in there.
Second.
A motion and a second. We need any more discussion?
Any public discussion?
I have a little comment. Does this have to be called a justice center? Can it be called a courthouse?
Okay, Tom, if I could explain that. When we filed the application for the $500,000 loan, to my understanding, when we called it a courthouse, it did not look heavy. The state didn't look as heavily on it, and they said our points would be better if we called it a Joint Justice Center. And the reason for that is Governor Kasich is really high on putting things together and doing things jointly and collaboratively. And so that's why it brought, call it Joint Justice Center, iced it on the cake that we got $500,000.
I just have a problem with that name. I like the courthouse. I mean, that's the old school, I understand, but,
And probably essentially that's everybody will call it will be the courthouse.
yeah, I think so
Yeah,
too. Yeah, okay.
And I guess while just in comments, I'd like to thank Judge Shuff and all of the judges for being behind us when we made the decision back in February 17th and, you know, and actively getting engaged. We have to provide them a facility. They don't have to actively get engaged, and they have. And with the design committee, that I really enjoyed. I thought it was a very productive meeting, with pulling some community people into that, people who utilize the courthouse every day besides from behind the bench, and participating in that, and I think it's an exciting process. And there's some other committees that'll be getting involved and reporting back to both the city and the county. And I think it's just a great process to keep the input and the ideas flowing, but also keep it moving. So I think that's good.
I think another very, very important fact that needs to be brought out is as we move forward with this Joint Justice Center, because of the cooperation and the contribution from the judges, from the county, and the city, we can do this project without, and I repeat, without asking for any additional taxes. We can do this with our existing budget.
So on this motion, it's made and seconded, and we've had discussion. I'll have you call the roll, please.
Commissioner Zoller,
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy.
Yes. Memorandum of understanding is approved by the Board of Commissioners. All right. We can continue on.
Run a 2-foot line now.
Do you guys have one copy to sign?
I'll believe that if you know how many feet are in
This
a
one,
line.
I have no writing on this one.
5,280.
Oh, you do. Yes, I think.
There you are.
And what's the length of a marathon?
28.
No,
26.
no,
26?
26.1.
no.
What?
What? 26.2.
I was close.
Ooh.
You were close. And what's that distance come from historically?
You got me there.
Olympia, isn't it? I think this is an historic moment between the city and the county to enter into I'm sure it's the largest single project that the city and the county.
Making sure you have a blue pen.
Yeah, I know that.
I think we should sign Fred up for a 5K first.
For what?
For a 5K.
Yeah.
Do you know how many miles that is?
3.2 or 3.1.
So where did 26 come from?
After the Greeks beat the Persians in battle, they had a runner sent to Marathon to let them know that they had beaten the Persians in a battle to save Greece. And the distance between the two was 26.2. And the runner got there, as I understand it,
Really?
Are you quoting this, Vanessa?
now you
No,
can
but one of
Google
the
that
others.
to see if I'm
No, you're right.
Really?
That's a good reason never to
First
run
time in his
miles.
life.
5K.
So wait a minute, an attorney and a reporter
I
say
know.
you're right, everybody just agrees?
I didn't bring it 'cause I thought you.
I typically
They
have
should.
a Heidelberg.
Okay,
We talked about.
I got it.
a Heidelberg grad. See? Brenda, you like it?
All right, as we move
Don't
on,
argue with Heidelberg grads.
the other items on our new business listed here, this other one is a downtown related, the kiosk and way finding. And this came out of one of the downtown committees through SIDAC. And I think they shared information with all of us about these, they're calling them kiosk, and I always thought kiosk meant it was electronic in nature of some sort, but apparently not. It's an information point, I don't know the definition of kiosk, but, but on some of the parking lots, it would say what parking lot it is, it would have appropriate directional signage to nearby, public places or places of interest, and probably would have a little, some pictures I saw, a little map area that would show, okay, you parked here, and right here is Washington Street, and here's Madison, or whatever it is. And basically, they were asking if we were interested in having the same looking signs in our county parking lots in the downtown area.
Two-tier. One, you're right.
Okay.
The first request was that we allow them to put a sign on their easement.
Oh, that's right.
easement
Yep.
In front of the courthouse.
Where the flag's at.
With like that, yep.
And then also for us to put a sign in, our commissioner's parking lot and on Madison Street and the one, two more actually. The one next to, Meyer and Kirchner, some law firm, whatever that parking lot is.
Hanson lot.
Hanson lot.
Hanson lot and the lot that we talked about for the food drive.
The CSD lot.
So
Rich.
we would pay for three at a cost of about $3,000 a piece.
She said, yeah, 2 to 3. She
Yeah, it would be
wasn't-
probably less than three, but maximum of three.
Now, this will match the other ones that the city is doing for all of their parking lots. And the last part of that thing that I understand that you brought up to them is would we provide the electricity for lighting of the kiosks that will be down in front of the Justice Center? Maybe just put a simple light there so that somebody at nighttime, if they wanted to get directions and
Well, I think there's
get to ski.
conduit.
Yes.
Run to it
Yeah, there is
now.
conduit, there's electric to that.
Well, and the other question was, would we make that a more welcoming area? Like talking about maybe putting a couple of benches in or, you know, welcoming people.
Is that us or is that the city that would do that? Because the city owns,
That
don't
sign,
they own the
they would
street?
do.
They own
They know that
the,
sign, but I think there would need to be some enhancement to that area because of the position of the flag poles and those kind of things, which they'll take care of.
Yeah.
But would we consider putting it up?
Did she send any diagrams with her, the letter? Did they send a letter?
They sent the letter.
But they didn't
They
send a
had-
diagram?
They had
they
some,
were supposed to send diagrams with it, I asked her to.
they had some renderings of the kiosks.
Yeah, that's,
When we all three went there.
Yeah, I saw the one she showed me when I met with her at her office, but I didn't,
Mark
she didn't
Levins.
send one to us.
Mark Levins is the chairman.
just the rendering,
Yeah.
just the rendering of what.
I would have a problem with benches and stuff. I think that's the responsibility of the city. As far as us providing the lighting for that kiosk, I have no problem with that, because the conduit's right there. It's
Yeah,
just a
them
simple light.
placing one there and doing whatever else they wanna do, I mean, that, all other than the electric would be at their cost.
Well,
And I'm
yeah.
okay with that, because again, they're not doing this haphazardly, they really investigate their poles are gonna match, but be smaller than the light poles through downtown. And when you go through downtown, you do see a lot of signage, I mean, there's signs everywhere, and I don't know individual buildings and properties, but a lot of directional type signings, you know, universities, and this will uniform that and put these things in set places around, I think it would be nice. Now, we don't have to make it, I think they just wanted to know how we felt on that, I don't know if we need a motion or
Well,
just share with them that we're okay with that. Now, whether we wanna buy ours or not, I don't know what we need to do there. They'll need to know
Well, I'll throw this
eventually.
motion out and you guys can decide whether
Okay.
you wanna second it or not.
Go with it.
That we first of all, we agree to the request that one can be put on the property that's in front of the courthouse. That secondly, we would appropriate up to $3,000 to have a sign that matches those signs in the three of our parking lots. And that thirdly, they be allowed to design a welcome area for the area in front of the courthouse with our approval.
And that, I'll second that. And just a point of verification is that's 3,000, potentially 3,000 per lot,
Up to $9,000.
up to 9,000. I will second the motion.
I didn't hear figures of that. I heard it was under $5,000 for the whole thing, but I'm okay with the motion, but I would just like to add in there, we would provide electricity for the kiosk in front of the courthouse.
You wanna have that in there, or do you wanna do a formal amendment? You'll include that in your
I'll
motion?
include it in the motion.
Okay, you guys got
Discussion,
that?
yes, some discussion.
You might wanna wait on the beautification till the building is up. And that might change the whole concept, and I don't know, because the design committee is still working on the exterior. But how that is designed, the building, and where it's placed on the courthouse square could affect whatever they're proposing to do. And if construction should start this fall, you'd probably be taking up some of that area you're talking about.
No,
Well, this is
the area that's
actually on the
talking
sidewalk, this is like.
is on the
On the
sidewalk
Where
where the flag is.
It's where the flag is, where there's concrete. It's really not on the
It's
green
not on the grass
anymore.
at all.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's
no.
not near the
I
staff.
saw it.
No.
No, it's out in an area where
Oh, where the flower,
there are
Yes.
3 or 4 flagpoles
Yeah.
in that.
Yeah,
never mind,
Okay.
I withdraw my comments.
Yeah.
Strike them from the
Because that's what I
record.
thought at first, when I first started talking to them, I'm
Ready to
going,
strike.
and they go, no, it's out on the sidewalk, and that kind of thing.
Just like the jury, once it's said, it's heard, buddy.
So if you're coming down Washington, you would,
I
the
tell
sign
them
would
to
be here,
disregard
this
it.
is the pole, the flagpole's back here, you would be able to read what it says. It's two
they
directional.
would put it, yeah.
You need
Yeah, okay, whatever.
So we have made a motion,
more discussion.
Okay,
Well, I have, that sidewalk out in front of the courthouse, the old courthouse, that's not part of the county?
They have an easement, the city has an easement.
The reason I'm asking this, because I remember seeing past commissioners working in that,
Yeah, I have,
flower,
yeah.
okay,
county owns it, the city has an easement.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank
that's
you.
why they want to. All right, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller,
Yes,
Commissioner Stacy.
Yes. And we will begin with the other printed items on the new business, starting with the bill vouchers.
Okay, I have bill vouchers 48 through 52. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriation for the Seneca County Ditch Maintenance Fund. I'm gonna have some odd account numbers, fund numbers for you. The auditor's office has switched over to a new system, and starting this month, they have proceeded to change our fund numbers. The last 3 numbers are gonna be the same as what they've always been, but they had to add a new number to the beginning, so if I read, like this one will be the ditch maintenance fund 2017. The old ditch maintenance fund was 017, so it's gonna be 2017. So from now on, you'll hear me probably reading odd numbers, but that'll be why. So we have this one for ditch maintenance. It's for $15,000 in the joint county line, and this is for the first half joint county assessments. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Children's Services Fund 2078 for $6,000 into their services for children, for their child care, children in foster care for the remainder of the calendar year. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations to the general fund. They added 0 at the beginning, so it's 0010. These are gonna make it hard to, that was you saying oh and oh. General fund, this is for contract services for the engineer for $1,875. This is for maintenance service agreement for tax map. Mark is covering 75% of it, and tax map covers the 25% of it. I have an appropriation adjustment within the general fund, moving $250 from contract services to travel. This is at the request of the clerk of courts. I have a resolution authorizing a contract service agreement with the Seneca County Museum Foundation for renovations and improvements to the Seneca County Museum window repairs, storm windows. And I think we should probably clarify the name on that. It's not the foundation anymore. It's the Barnes Deinzer Seneca County Museum Foundation. And we have added, I think the discussions were for 2015 and 2016, if we would sell the building, be 75% reimbursed. 2017 would be 50%, 2018 would be 25%. So I don't think those numbers are quite right. The total project was only $6,430, and they cut 75% of the reimbursement at $8,000. So we're gonna fix that, but the title's right. I have a resolution accepting the resignation of Brian Beeston as maintenance worker for the Seneca County Maintenance Department effective April 17th, 2015. I have a resolution entering into an emergency medical services agreement with the NBS, New Regal Big Springs, Seneca Joint Ambulance District on behalf of the Seneca County EMS, retroactive to April 7th, 2015. I have a supplement to the permit appropriations for the general fund This is for the transfers outline for the $400,000 to be moved to the Capital Projects Fund, Justice Center. Resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the Capital Projects Fund 1215. This is to move the $400,000 from the transfers out of the general fund to the capital projects transfers in. And then I have a supplement to the permit appropriations for the capital projects fund, putting the $400,000 into the Justice Center line into the capital projects fund. And that's all I have.
Okay, motion?
May I make a motion that we approve them as outlined?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns on any of the stated resolutions? Okay, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes, all approved, thank you. All right, that wraps up our business, and anything else, I think we covered everything we added. Leaves us to an opportunity for citizens' comments. At this time, do we have any comments from citizens?
I am a citizen.
You are a citizen.
I want to thank you and compliment you and commend you for the memorandum of understanding that you have discussed and adopted. I think this is a great roadmap, a blueprint for a number of things, shared services, so I compliment you. Number one being the Joint Justice Center, which is long overdue, and but I compliment you, I commend you, and thank you. And I thought I'd just make this comment, someone gave it to me. We are made wise not by the recollection of our past, but by the responsibility for the future. And because of that, George Bernard Shaw, because of what you're doing, you're ensuring for generations some great things, dealing with not only the court system, but other governmental things and our county seat. So, thank you.
Any other citizens' comments?
I have a comment about the new courthouse.
Sure.
Is it gonna be built to last hundreds of years or 75? Please build it that it will last, that it does not have to be torn down in a small number of years. But my kids have to build a new one. Make it a nice stone building or some type of, something that's going to last.
Durability, that's what we would want. Strong buildings gonna last for decades.
If I may say something in relation to that, the committee met, just initial committee, and the words that they came up with were the following, and these are just ideas that they wanted to express. The building ought to inspire, it ought to be dignified, it ought to be a traditional design that fits in with the architectural design of Tiffin, downtown Tiffin. It ought to complement the annex but be the superior building so that it is the main thrust. So I do hear what you're saying. I think we are going to work very hard on that.
Put a towel on.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We want this to be a focal point
Thank you.
in downtown Tiffin, and so that when you are doing county or city business with the courts or the, any of those issues that are inside there, that you realize that you're in a solemn structure and it's befitting of the issues that go on within county. So, I mean, this is a major undertaking, and to be able to do this, we could not do it, was not for the cooperation with the judges. We could do it without the city, but I think with the city, it just allows us to enhance a building in downtown Tiffin.
I think we have to impart on the county into the future, because I believe that we're committed to this for preventive maintenance, ongoing, good care of our property. We all know those two houses on the street. One looks absolutely wonderful after 50 years. the other one could use some real work, and we want to be the one that looks after the one.
I just need to make one little comment about my father-in-law. I didn't know this, but my wife told me when they took the tower off of the old courthouse and put that stone thing on, I guess he wanted to kill. He said, put it bluntly. He was so unhappy, she said, when they did that.
We would, I'll make this again, this is me individually, I'm not speaking for the commissioners, but we talked about this. We would like to include any architectural pieces that people in Seneca County may have, or outside of Seneca County, that would want to incorporate that into the new courthouse. And I believe the design committee would be more than happy to find a place to have those included in the design. So if there's anyone out there who has, you know, big pieces, windows, or we as commissioners bought a front entry handle,
Leave a handle.
to go to the auction.
$225, by the way.
So we are putting our money where our mouth is. And, you know, if there is any.
You put my money where your mouth is.
I said, gee, what do you think? He said, yeah, I'll commit Fred to his share. I said, okay, I'll buy it.
So if there's anything out there, please let us know, and, you know, we would certainly, I would believe that the county would be willing to at least talk about paying a fair value for it.
That's neat, that's neat.
But I must tell you, the design committee has decided at the first meeting, that's not gonna be a replica of the old. The old is the old, and that's why we need to move forward. It will be a new design.
And if you don't mind just mentioning I did not remember the time, but there was a courthouse previous to the 1884 courthouse.
Sure.
And I know you probably don't have your book with you.
I do not, but
It's got this wonderful coffee table.
it was
full
an
of county
1830
courthouses.
courthouse.
Yeah. And so there's that to consider too.
And it was a nice looking courthouse.
Mhm.
Small, but nice looking.
Fred was only Windows 6 then?
Do we have any other comments for citizens' comments at this time?
I would like to see a little wrought iron fence around this building. Not the whole lawn, but just around the building. Something to, I don't want to say it, to keep it, the people won't climb on it, but that's not the word, I'm not using the right words, but just, it sets it aside, it sets it apart from everything else, I
Yeah.
guess.
I think it enhances the structure.
That's better
It
wording than what I
enhances the
said.
structure.
Some outward sign that it's a building that should be respected.
Yes.
Additional comments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second it.
Motion is second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you very much. 7:57.